Right. Okay, I think we
We're
are live.
live. Fantastic.
You want tea?
Oh, yes, if you could pour it into the teapot thing there, that would be lovely. Right, now I'm just wondering if this is private or because when I started it, I put it as private. So now I'm wondering, edit, hang on, edit. Oh, yes, I'm down as private, right.
Okay.
That would help. Right. Now I think we are definitely live.
Yes. Let's spill the royalty.
Yes. Can you see comments? I can't see comments on here yet.
Yeah. Yes. I can see comment
I
on
can't see them
my.
at all. So I wonder why that is.
Okay.
I'll try posting a comment myself.
Hello, Shakespeare.
Oh, hi, Ria. Right. Now I can go on to YouTube and start assigning moderators.
Okay. Yes, we don't need the trolls coming on and being snarky.
Yeah, you on?
Right. Excellent. Yeah, I can see myself on the phone. Hi, Jody. Right, Ria, you are already a moderator. I don't see how to do Jody. Oh yeah, I've got it. I think. And then there's Glinda. Right, how is everybody? Hello, hello everybody.
Hello.
How are you all doing? This is Glinda the Good.
Hello, everyone.
Very
Up
well
in YouTube
connected
land.
lady. Hi, Amanda.
Yeah. Hello, Callie.
So do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, Glinda? Because people probably know you from the comments.
Well, yes, I have been active making comments across many YouTube videos. And where I come from is I used to work in the film industry until an accident is now preventing me from doing what I used to do. I was a picture car coordinator and precision stunt driver. So I was one of the few women. And
Wow, I didn't know that.
so it kind of happened when I was in my early 20s, late teens, because somebody saw that I could drive manual transmission and not very many can.
Right, yeah. A lot of them are autos. Yeah, we've got Hi Princess Carol, Janet Elty, Benalmadena Costa, Rue, Michelle, Theresa Bennett, Callie, Amanda Pritchard, Fluffy Kitten, Aunt Sally, Natasha. I'm not sure if that's another Michelle, Maria P. Hello, and Joanne King. Hello, everybody. Well, so much to talk about with the royals as well, isn't it?
Yes. But before I started working in film production, I was raised very uniquely. My parents separated when I was young, but the agreement stated that I had to be with my dad by 4 p.m. on Fridays. But my dad worked in Europe. So every Thursday evening, I was put on a plane to a jet to whatever European city he would be. So one week, I may be going to London, Paris, Munich, Vienna, Rome, Athens, Tel Aviv. And then during the summers, I would spend my school holiday with my dad. And one year we were it was in the early 70s. We were in Kabul in Afghanistan before all the nightmares started. And later 80s, mid 80s, we were in Karachi, Pakistan, Bombay, Tehran. The summer that I was 17, I actually was there while my dad was flying stuff out of Tehran to safe locations. I was helping others packing up boxes.
Right.
So this was September of 79. So, but in the meantime, he worked diplomatic transport. I had the opportunity to meet many members of various royal families across Europe and the Middle East. And as a teenager, if you're going to be, we're going to be based in London for 6 months. I get to meet some of the other kids, other children, and invariably they meet because we're mingling with the royal families. You do meet some of the lesser royals, the aristocrats.
Yeah.
That might be like 75th on the line of succession. So you do have an opportunity to meet people even higher up. And when I was real little, I know that I was there. I must have been about 7, 8. And my dad goes, "Oh, this is my friend Philip Duke," and blah, blah. I just, 8-year-old, you don't listen to the rest of it. So I always know him. Oh, here's Mr. Duke. Where it was actually, my dad played cards with the Duke of Edinburgh, but all my life until later on, I called him Mr. Duke every time I saw him. And he just laughed. Just laughed.
What was he like?
He was kind of like my dad. They were both guys who served in World War II. So they weren't strict, but they were regimented and they were disciplined. And if somebody did something stupid, they had no fear in calling them out on their mistake. So they could be very sharp, but at the same time, you were treated with respect and dignity. But if you may be scolded the first time you do something foolish, but if you did the same mistake twice, heaven help you, you really got chewed out because you were told not to. So, but he was very nice. And on one occasion, this was still when I was very young, I'm talking single digit time. We drove out to this country house, and it was not Windsor Castle, but it was another country house. Don't ask me which one it was. And he goes, "Yeah, we're going to go have lunch with, with Philip." I said, "Oh, Mr. Duke." And when we got there, he goes, "Oh, here is his wife is coming down. My dad's telling me make sure to curtsy like I told you to." And I go, "It's very nice to meet you, Mrs. Duke." And she just giggled. She thought that was the cat's pajamas. It was just like, okay, this is a child. She doesn't really know about the monarchy. And she knows that the two men know each other from serving together in World War II. And because of my dad being in aviation and diplomatic transport, of course, Philip learned to fly. They were acquaintances, friendly, and it was kind of cool. Just kind of meeting this woman. I'm like, oh, okay, she's not that tall. I mean, she was shorter than my dad, and I just referred to her as Mrs. Duke. Later on, it dawned on me, oh my God, I called the Queen of England.
Oh, wow.
So it was kind of fun. It's
marvelous memories.
It was really fun. And now I look back, I'm like, my God, I've done so many things that most people would look at me like, are you sure that really happened? But
there's a lady here says her dad was on HMS Belfast in World War II.
Oh my gosh. So they were a Royal Navy. I know. It's like, I don't remember what ship Prince Philip was on. My dad was more into, he was Army Air Corps, which assisted the RAF. And he was based out of the Royal Air Force Base in India. So he flew supplies over the hump, over Mount Everest to help with and then assisted in the rescue and transport of everyone that was held prisoner by the Japanese. So he didn't, my dad never really talked about much that he saw in the war. So it must have been pretty awful.
Right. Well, so much has happened this week. What does everybody, where do you want to start?
Anybody
Where can we begin? I've made my own choker, emerald choker. I thought that was an absolute class move on Catherine's part.
Oh,
And Glinda is wearing a tiara from Austria.
yes. My mother's family, rumor has it that my grandfather is the bastard son of, my grandmother said, yeah, he's the son of a duke, a bastard. So he was a illegitimate son of one of the Austrian royal dukes. So, and he was born in the, I think, late 1880s. So we were in Vienna when I was a teenager, and I was out shopping with my mom, and she goes, "Oh, look, this is a copy of a Habsburg tiara." So, okay, we got it. I mean, so I've had it for quite a few years now, about 40 years.
Well, generally in the comments, people are pretty livid about the week's events. It's like nuclear war, isn't it, on Royal Family? That
It's
Netflix trailer. I mean, I find it amusing, but I have seen in the most recent post newspapers that someone has said William will sue. Basically, if there's anything in the Netflix that's not right, it's not going to be like the late monarch. They're going to be paying attention. Hello, Tracy M, Mabel, Estilla,
Yeah.
Estia, Plant Lady. Sorry if I've missed anybody else.
there's
Thora.
what Mamselle Estella.
So, yeah, do you think William should sue if anything is incorrect in it or not? Or be like
Well,
the late monarch?
I do have a definite opinion right now. I think Lady Susan Hussey needs to lawyer up because of that woman's statements. It is definitely defamation of character.
A lot of people think that she's deliberately sort of taken the blame, like as an act of honor.
Yes, well, she may have, but then also that woman who attended, the more information is coming out is that she actually attended the event by piggybacking on somebody else's invitation.
Yes, I've heard that.
And I in later years I did attend social functions that were hosted by another royal family. And there are people that come up and talk to the guests and say, "Who are you? What do you do? Where are you from?"
To introduce them so they know
Yeah,
what
but
what's
to
what. They
say,
can't possibly memorize it all off the top of their head, can they?
so then the person then goes and takes this person over to introduce them to the bigwig who's hosting the event
Oh,
and say, "This
so
is so and so she is from, and this is their stuff." So the royal would know where then to go with the questions.
yeah.
So she was trying to gather the information so that Lady Susan was trying to gather information from this woman politely so then she could escort the woman to be presented to Camilla, the Queen Consort. And this
Yeah.
woman just was unfamiliar with royal protocol.
Yeah, I mean, I've met people like that. It's a little difficult to communicate with them. She may not be a great communicator. I don't know. Jamba's saying she's not even sure if the Netflix is going to air because they keep changing the dates. I haven't noticed them change the dates. Hello, Diana T. That have they changed them?
I saw one article that it was going to start later this week on the 8th. Then another is saying it'll be airing on Christmas Day, December 25th. And now it's like it's kind of on hold because maybe, like you said, somebody saw something in the trailer and they're like, "Oops, we may have a copyright infringement from some of those photographs." So,
Yeah.
because some of those photographs taken of Prince Henry when he was a child, even though they're out for public viewing, to use them in a commercial product, you need to have an official clearance from the photographer who owns the copyright of the photo.
Yeah. What do you make of the photographs inside Buckingham Palace in the private residence? Now
That
let's just forget for a moment she was the Queen, Queen Elizabeth II. How would you feel if you invited, for example, me and Graham into your home, and then you saw images inside your home in a trailer? Oh, and Graham and Fiona are going to talk about Glinda, and we're just citizens. How would anybody feel? You suddenly see images of inside your home from two people who don't like you.
I would be livid, and I would be on the phone to the attorney to have a cease and desist order.
I'd
that
be
they would
livid,
have to.
wouldn't you?
They would have to have things
When I
edited
first
out.
saw it, I thought that was CCTV pictures because they're high up. That's what I was thinking. But now they're saying no, it was a photographer. Was it taken overtly or covertly?
I think somebody had a hidden camera. It was behind them clicking away.
I wonder. And
it would not
everyone at the
surprise me.
time, remember, we were all saying, don't let them into the palace. They'll be filming surreptitiously. And we were all told we were a bunch of idiots. I mean, it hasn't aired yet. And maybe the palace did give permission, or maybe it's a room that looks a hell of a lot like the private residence. I don't know. I will reserve judgment on the whole Netflix thing until I see it. Because Graham's right. You have been a firm believer all along. They're going to Netflix are going to do a number on Harry and Meghan. Does anybody remember Tiaras and Tears with Elton John?
Oh,
that was and he was kicking off and having tantrums, and he didn't like that at all. So you think they're going to do that, don't you?
I do, yeah. Well, it'll be a bestseller, won't it? If it makes them look really stupid and horrible, everyone's going to go, yeah, I want to watch that.
Well, I wonder if the contract, if they had say for final edit in their contract, or if
Probably.
Netflix reserved the right of final edit, director's cut. Who has that say so?
I don't know.
But then I'm thinking to myself, something's in there that didn't want to get out.
Yeah.
And like many are saying, where is the article? Where is the report from the allegations of people being treated very poorly when they were in their employ?
Oh, have you seen another member of staff's just parted company? Have you seen that?
I didn't see that one this morning, but
yeah,
I noticed
their top person in charge of Archwell Productions has parted company. Scobie tweeted that.
I wonder what the
problem was.
The NDA, the non-disclosure statement. I wonder how long that runs for. Because, just like back years ago in Chicago when Oprah had her studio, it was non-union. She wouldn't hire anybody who belonged to one of the unions or guilds because she treated them so horribly. And if you're a union member and if you're being abused by the producer, they can be fined. So that's why I know Oprah never used.
Apparently whistleblowing can be a way around that. Apparently.
You have to be whistleblowing. You have to follow certain criteria and make sure you are doing it under the guidance of an attorney.
Night Owl says two people resigned. I'd only seen one. And yes, the Sun newspaper, and I do take everything in the papers with a pinch of salt, said some insider said that Harry had made the remark that us Brits need to be taught a lesson or something like that. Whether Harry actually said that or not, I don't know. And I emphasize it's in the Sun newspaper, which can be dodgy sometimes. Although when it comes to royal things, I've always rather gotten the impression that the Sun sort of has a finger on the pulse within palace walls.
Well, I think people who work for the palace, they have people who can quietly feed information out to certain journalists, so it can't be traced.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Prince Henry making that comment, I'm going to follow my old adage don't believe anything you hear and only half of what you see. And since nobody has seen him actually verbalize those words, we do need a delivery from Morton Salt on that situation.
Yeah. The thing with a lot of the leaks that come out in the newspapers, they do tend to be proved true later on. Perhaps not specifically accurately.
There is a kernel of truth, and we do have to wait. It's an exercise in patience. But one thing that I noticed, everybody was at the actual funeral service at Westminster Abbey. Everybody was commenting on who was wearing what. And I noticed at the neckline of Meghan's dress, it looked like a zipper, but at the same time, that could have been a disguise for a microphone.
Well, this is the problem with...
Because you couldn't see the back of the dress, so you wouldn't be able to see the battery pack.
With a lot of people, there's a trust issue around Meghan, isn't there? There's a lot of us doubting Thomases out here, shall we say. As some people have said in the comments, that it's really, if Harry said that, and I emphasize the if, because I don't know that he actually said that, but if he did, that's a bit flipping cheeky considering taxpayers have paid. Although the sovereign grant, I don't know if the security comes out, the sovereign grant, it's the way the royals have sort of funded. They're self-funding because they generate a lot of money, and then they have a clawback of something like 15% to pay for costs. I don't know if security is something entirely separate or if that comes out the sovereign grant. But basically, yes, he had a $44 million wedding.
He did.
That money came from somewhere.
Exactly. Well, we do have to realize that the networks had to pay to be able to broadcast. And so the networks did cough up a lot of cash to get those prime locations on broadcasting the event. So
Gail has said they were supposedly caught taping. I did hear a rumor a long time ago before they left the royal family that Meghan had been caught recording something in Kensington Palace, but I don't know. Again, who knows how much truth that is? They think you're wearing a tiara.
No, my reading glasses. I need them to read the comments, you see.
Well, you
should be reading the comments.
We see people all the time walking around on the street with their eyes glued to their cell phone.
Yeah, I know. And they walk into you, don't they?
They do, but at the same time, you don't know if these people are actually filming what they're doing. They may not be reading a text message or playing a game. They may be holding it so they are watching and filming, recording everything that they're doing. So she might have been walking around the palace grounds and people may have been thinking, oh, she's checking her voicemails, her text messages. It may be that, or she might have been recording what's going on in the palace.
If she had her phone out like that, they'd be on her. They'd be on her straight away.
That film people. You sit there like that, filming everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
And with
the amount of cameras they've got today.
With the amount of money they've got, but that photograph was taken behind them from some considerable height, so maybe up a staircase. Or like I say, to me, the first image, I thought it was CCTV, and I thought, oh my God, then who's given them security footage? But apparently not. It's one of their own photographers. But people are going to scrutinise, aren't they? Every single shot. See, Jesus Enrique Rosas, today, I saw his live where he was literally, because the photos are so fast, he's going through every single photo. And the first thing everybody said is, who's taking the picture at these intimate moments? You know, Meghan crying. Or she could be laughing. She might not be crying at all.
Well, she's an actress, isn't she? She can turn on the emotions.
I don't think she's a particularly good actress.
Well, she does claim that she is able to cry on demand. So she might have been practicing. Oh, come on.
Yeah, I'd never heard this left eye tear go. I don't remember her saying that.
It was all over, like at least Twitter or something, that
something she had actually said, was it?
She had actually said in an interview that she was capable of crying on demand.
Left eye 3 seconds
No.
go, says Jody.
Yes.
Wow.
So maybe she was doing something like that.
I have no idea.
Because
who knows with her? I mean, I wonder what their end goal is.
well, the other thing
Where
I've
it's gonna
noticed,
stop, you know?
what I've noticed in some of the pictures, it shows they're in different rooms, but the same pieces of furniture and the same accessories are just being moved from room to room to room. Do they have a fully furnished house, or are they living in an empty house with furniture just in half a dozen rooms?
Probably.
I don't know.
Because if you look closely, we see that same blanket located in several rooms. Some of the chairs look highly similar. Are they just being moved
I'm
from
so
place to
ignorant,
place?
but I thought the blanket she was sitting on with H's all over it, I thought that was for Harry. I didn't realise that's Hermes. It's a name brand.
Oh,
Is it?
I just thought, oh look, H. I'm with H.
Was it
Well,
150 grand, that blanket then?
$6,000 or something like that. Somebody said.
outrageous. What wasn't there a big scandal that during the one and only time she attended a royal Christmas at Sandringham, that she had ordered hostess gifts or party favor gifts for his friends who came shooting, and then she had a snit fit because it was the wrong color?
The wrong shade of red.
Well,
Yeah, I think that was in one of the books. I think that was, I can't remember if that was in Tom Bower's book or maybe in Tina Brown's.
well, I realize it's kind of like, even I know if you see something in a print catalog or online, that's a guesstimate of what the actual color of the garment or item that you're purchasing will be. Because there is a difference between printer's ink, what shows on your computer, and the color of something in actual reality.
I mean, honestly, who cares? Wrong shade of red.
I mean, my sweater is actually a very vibrant peachy pink, but on the computer screen, it looks pretty like a very pale pastel pink color.
Yeah, it does.
So,
it's lovely.
Thank you. So she is only herself to blame for assuming that the blankets were going to match the color that she saw in a catalog or online. So she had no reason to have a hissy fit.
Oh, I think it was the personal assistant or something who got it in the neck. That was the impression I got.
Oh.
I don't know. What would you do if you were Meghan? I know that's unbelievable because Meghan clearly doesn't see the world the way the rest of us do. How would you clean up the PR? Apart from gaffer tape over her mouth, right? What would you advise them to do? Or any of you?
Admit, if I was in that situation, admit to everything that I've done. Okay, I messed up. This is what I did. This was my agenda. I realize I may not be welcome back, but I will fade off into the sunset. Just come clean, honest.
No, she doesn't see. You have to speak up a little bit.
She'd never admit she was wrong, would she?
I don't think she sees it that she's wrong at all. She's sort of like a person who's digging and digging and she can't stop. And I'm sure that all this is about the tiara. That's what's at the root of it. And another thing, they wouldn't let me have that tiara that I wanted. I didn't look fabulous. I sort of feel that that's the essence of where we're going.
Which one did she actually want to
wear?
No one
knows. No one knows. An emerald one of dubious connections. I don't know. I always felt it was the Vladimir tiara because that did come from the Romanovs. It was bought. It was smuggled out, actually. There's a whole story to that tiara. Fabulous story. Ria says, to be honest, she won't admit it. She needs to go into hospital.
Yeah.
Hello, beautiful flower. That one Beatrice wanted to wear. Eugenie, yeah, I think. Although I wasn't that keen on that one. That was a Cabochon emerald, wasn't it?
Yes.
Great. Should be entertaining hearing your take on it. I'm just catching up on some of the go live with her twin Scooby-Doo. That would be funny, wouldn't it? That would
Gosh.
be funny. Hello, Woo. I'm sorry if I've missed anybody else in and not said hello yet.
Well, I did read that Eugenie was somewhat disappointed because her wedding had to be pushed further back down the calendar because of
yes, it was. It
royal
was
rank
because the more senior royal takes
precedence. And so maybe the bride felt that she was entitled not only to the wedding date, but to the wedding jewelry that was set aside also.
Mm.
And I know from a friend who's part of one of the Arab royal families, she told me that there are sets of there's gorgeous amounts of jewelry, but depending on how high you are in the family, decides what pieces you are allowed to borrow.
Yeah.
So
well, they'll all be insured for a start. So
right. So
the insurance policy will have things on it, like there's got to be a certain protocol to open the vault to get the jewels out and stuff like that.
And a blood princess has rights to wear certain pieces of jewelry before the intended bride of a higher ranking member. So at that time, Meghan was still a commoner. So she was given certain things she could choose from that were of her rank and station. But Eugenie, since she was a blood princess, a granddaughter of the monarch, and with the title of princess, of course, she could borrow jewels that were of a higher stature than Meghan. So, and even now, she is still considered an in-law. So basically, Princess Anne can borrow things where Meghan can't borrow them. Should she be allowed again?
Aunt Sally has brought something up. I know a few other YouTubers have mentioned this, and someone gave me a link to an article before the engagement was even announced. And to me, it reads like a puff piece, a PR piece, where there was an assumption that she would have an engagement ring made with one of the emeralds from the choker that Catherine wore the other night. No wonder, if that is the case, she looked at the ring and said, it's lovely, isn't it? And he designed it all by himself. That explains that.
You don't take apart heirloom jewelry.
Shan Gums, yes, I know narcissists never apologize. I'm not entirely convinced she is a narcissist. I think there's something wrong there, but I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not sure. Hello, Honesty and Truth. Hello, Dutch Arse of Monty Shit Show.
Hello. Hello.
Oh, yeah.
It's getting dark now.
There we go. I'll put the link in the description if anybody else wants to come up.
They have questions.
Yep.
But I did hear a story from one of the ladies that I've maintained an acquaintance friendship with from the Middle East. When they did the initial tour of the Pacific Islands.
Oh, the Fiji one, yeah.
With the diamond earrings. And we were talking about it. She called me. She goes, she received those earrings before she was involved with the English prince. And I'm like, oh? He goes, yeah, she was kind of involved, friends with a member of such a family but that guy's kind of known for having particular tastes in the bedroom. Now, of course, this is all women's gossip, so maybe she,
and we're trying to keep it clean as well.
I mean, it's like maybe she has some hidden talents that are only for behind bedroom doors. And so because I guess she was very friendly with this man. He then gifted her with a really nice pair of earrings. So who knows?
Oh, the diamond
But that's-
earrings, I think they were a wedding present, weren't they?
They were said to have been a wedding present. Do we know for
Hi,
sure?
LD has joined in, Texas Mama. And Sue Smith. Hi, Sue.
Oh my gosh.
I put the link in the description, so if anybody wants, I'll put it in again because the comments are flying quite fast now. And I'm trying to say hello to everybody. If I haven't said hello, just comment again, people, so I see your name. Diana T says, oh, she's gone. It's going so fast. The Earthshot prize has just been on BBC. I know, I'm so sorry to clash with that. I didn't realise that they were going to... hello, Shayla. And there was someone a minute ago I saw, Ralph Owens, and someone just visiting Planet Earth or something like that. So yeah, anybody wants to step up, that's well, my own link's disappeared now.
Oh my gosh. Here, let me scroll back to see. I have a secondary laptop.
Sandra, hello Sandra, how are you doing? And
So
Gentile, here we go, the lovely Sue Smith.
Hi,
Hello.
Sue. Hello.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
I'm going to win that dollar.
I literally have 3 minutes. Wait a minute, I'm trying to figure out why I'm hearing an echo.
Maybe there's a second speaker on.
Okay, yeah, I probably do.
Sometimes you have to check the stuff on
It's
your...
just a
Okay,
flying
well,
visit.
I only have like 2 minutes because in my Patreon, I'm doing a live in like 15 minutes.
Okay.
I just wanted to say, number one, I love the crown.
Thank you.
Very nice. Love the necklace.
Thank you. Fiona and I decided to pull out the pearls and the tiara this week, so I pulled out the pearls.
How angry do you think, Sue, that Meghan was to see Catherine in the emerald choker?
The Queen Mary choker.
Just a guess. Just imagine hypothetically.
Oh my! I mean, just
the
by
mansion
walking out in a $97 rented dress with a $15 million choker on, suck down.
That costs more than a house.
I could see the tantrum on the carpet.
And I would imagine it costs.
Kicking
It must be priceless. Queen Mary, and goodness knows where that came from, India originally, didn't it? So, and then
the emeralds did, yes.
Mother, the Queen herself, Diana, and then Catherine.
Well, the rumor mill was that she wanted one of those emeralds for her engagement ring.
Yeah, we were just saying that.
I would assume that the royal family has a whole collection of loose stones that are available to be reset.
Sure, yeah.
So why there probably is a loose emerald laying around from someplace. So why would you destroy a piece of jewelry to create another one?
I think that's why they said no. They weren't going to rip that necklace apart, and that was a wedding gift from the Queen. So they weren't going to rip it apart just to give her an engagement ring.
Oh, definitely. It was, I know it stated that it was gifted to Diana on permanent loan for her lifetime.
Right.
Then when the divorce happened, the royal jewels went back to the vault. And now that Catherine is officially Princess of Wales, it's been gifted to her to use for her lifetime until she gifts it down to someone else.
And then she gets probably Charlotte.
Or George's wife.
Or George's wife.
It's traditionally a Princess of Wales.
So I know you guys are on this trail. I've got just a minute, like I said before, I have to go, but a bit of information came. It's on Twitter. Like a ton of people heard it last night. Apparently there was a Spaces on Twitter with Mr. Boozy last night, and he admitted in the Spaces that he is on Harry and Meghan's documentary. Therefore, he has essentially confirmed that he's working for Prince Harry and Meghan Markle.
Wow.
How would you suddenly start finding hate accounts and harassing people, and then suddenly just end up on their documentary? Not to mention that one magazine said he was working for Meghan Markle, and Boozy said, no, I'm not, take that off of the article, and they corrected the article. I think it's pretty obvious at this point now he is, and he cannot stop yapping. And he let it, he put up a tweet a few weeks ago, I'm in a documentary, but I can't say anything about it. And then
I saw him say that. I remember him saying that.
And then last night in the Spaces, he basically told everybody that at the very end, he's in the documentary.
Oh my goodness.
I just got to ask, what Spaces?
It's this thing on Twitter where you can talk.
Okay.
Elon Musk had one the other day, and
it's kind of like a live stream on Twitter.
It's kind of live stream where you can talk.
Okay,
I don't go into those. That came from a very, very, very reliable source.
Does anybody have a transcript of that log?
I don't know.
Anybody have printout of the log?
Somebody's bound to.
Somebody somewhere, I'm sure, screenshot
We're like a whole community of Miss Marples and Warrows, aren't we?
But I mean, could you imagine? Like, without even admitting, just by working for them and harassing. Now we know that who was behind Yankee Wally, right? She was putting all this information out about a surrogate and all this stuff, and all of a sudden, boom, she's off Twitter. Boom, she's off YouTube.
This information is very ironic because this morning is when Netflix said we're pushing the release date of the docuseries.
Yeah, so they're pushing it back.
Somebody may have caught that in that live stream chat, contacted somebody, and they called Netflix, and Netflix says, we got to put this in the book.
Well, they were going to drop it on the 8th. Then I heard they were going to drop it on the 24th or the 25th, which would coincide with Catherine's Christmas Carol thing at Westminster Abbey, and of course the King's first Christmas speech. I mean, I've said it in my video, cat's out, saucer of milk, they're doing everything possible to grab the attention. I'm going to drop this. I'm going to say this. I'm going to put out the Invictus documentary. I'm going to drop the Netflix. I'm going to have Harry dressed up like Spider-Man, which is the most pathetic thing I've ever seen. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Now I'm going to move it so it coincides with this. The amount of just sheer jealousy that's so obvious that William and Catherine live in Harry and Meghan's head, rent free, where it's very obvious. I can tell you from the United States, everybody was talking about the bad press. I live here. There was no bad press. No. Everybody was happy to see William and Catherine. Their visit was not overshadowed one little bit. Not at all. It was like, oh my God, the royals are here. Everybody was so
all the American news broadcast channels. The first 10 minutes is dedicated to William and Catherine and their visit.
Yes,
every single one. And at the top of the hour, some of the news broadcasts start at 4:00 in the morning and end at 10 a.m. Every top of the hour, they would give 5 to 10 minutes to William and Catherine.
Let me just tell you guys this, and then I got to go. This I think just demonstrates the mindset here anyway. And this is in my video for tomorrow, so no big surprise to anybody anyway. So I was at PT having my shoulder worked on. I tore my rotator cuff, and I'm trying like hell to avoid surgery. So I'm in PT, and I looked up at my therapist, and I said, where are you from? And he gives me the name of some town. I said, no. Where are your people from? And he goes, India. I said, do you think that that's a racist thing? And he goes, no. I said, have you heard about the royals? He goes, oh, William and Catherine. Yeah, I heard they're here in the United States on tour. I said, what about the other royals? He goes, what other royals? I said, Harry and Meghan. He goes, hadn't heard a word about them. What about them? Most people do not know about Harry and Meghan. The few people that do know about Harry and Meghan, their opinions are dropping, especially when you can see how hard they're trying to grab the attention. But at this point, I'm simply going to say that Charles and William, what they should do is just rip that Band-Aid off and say, listen, Harry, Meghan, you wanted to be free of us. You wanted to go away. You didn't want to be a part of the royal family. You've been saying horrible things about the royal family. We're going to give you what you've requested. We are removing your titles. There will be no titles for your children. We are removing you and your children from the line of succession. You're still my son. We love you. Come visit. But you're out. You're out as far as
yes, they could phrase it that way, couldn't they? We're going to do the best for you because
the
we
best
can
for
see
you
the titles
because
are
you
hurting
obviously
you.
don't like us. You attack. So this is what we're going to do for you. We're going to let you go because that's what you want. You want out. We're a horrible racist family. You want out. So we're going to let you out. And this is what we're going to do. And if Charles and William don't take decisive action at this point, then I have no more sympathy for the royal family and what they're going through because they have allowed this to go on now for 3 years. The truth is those titles should have been stripped by the Queen back when everything else was stripped. She should have gone ahead and taken the titles at that point. I don't know why she didn't. It's like ripping off a Band-Aid. They made all kinds of problems. Look, they took photographers into Buckingham Palace after they were forbidden.
Yes, I think that's going to be a bit of a game changer, Sue.
I mean, that's, and we all have.
How would you feel, Sue, if someone did that to you? You invited some guests for Christmas or something, and then you even saw it on their Facebook page. They'd taken pictures and put them on the internet without asking.
You know what really gets me is the fact that we've all heard stories in the past about how they were caught taping and taking photos in restricted areas, and that Meghan had to be walked through these areas. Now we're going to see the photos that everybody had been hearing about. Now it's all coming out. When you hear stuff,
and they
they
might make it look like she's being frog marched around the house. This is how unwelcome I am.
I've never seen anybody before make such a living out of being a victim. This is a new thing for me. And 3-4 years on. Oh, and by the way, one more thing, and then I really got to go. One more thing. Did you see my video about Misa Harriman? I think Misan, whatever his name is, the photographer.
No, not yet. No. But I just heard she's parted company. He
took the photos.
Oh, the photographer.
For the space. So there's a direct link from Meghan, who's his best, they're best buddies. My theory, just my opinion, is that they needed to get the stamp of approval for that Ripple Awards because, quite frankly, they look like idiots accepting it. So first, Shouty Shola tried to get in on the Paddington Bear thing. Look at her lifting up that kid's arm. And she put up manipulated video. And when it came out, she removed the video, removed the tweets. Then everybody's brainstorming. What do we do? What do we do? Misa goes, I know somebody. I know somebody in the UK who hates Meghan. Yeah. I mean, who hates the royal family. She's put out tweets accusing the king of domestic violence against her. She put on a wire. She goes in. She does this. Then she leaks it to the media. And then and everybody's like, well, how would they know that? Well, because he took the photos for Sister Space.
Because it looks like a transcript.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she taped it. Nobody's memory's that good. And
I suspect, yes.
I smell a rat. And they were trying to put the stamp of approval on that Ripple Award. And I guarantee you when they give that speech, when she gives her speech at the Ripple Award, I can almost guarantee she's going to bring up what just happened. And everybody's like,
do you think she will turn up, Sue? Do you really think she'll go?
Oh, yeah.
Are you still convinced Harry will go?
She has to have her red carpet moment. She's not going to pass that up. Will Harry go? Absolutely. Harry is so henpecked. I think she's got his balls in a cabinet at home with a bomb, and she's got the detonator in her hand, and she's like, "Get in there!"
I'm curious as to what designer she's going to beg, borrow, or steal a dress from.
Well, I find it interesting because that red dress that she wore to the Intrepid Awards was the color looked great on her. That's her color. But the dress was too tight. She had back fat rolls coming over the back. And the honey buns on the breasts looked ridiculous.
That red dress she wore with the bad face.
I really liked it from the waist down.
Yeah, the color was fabulous. The color was fabulous for her. But the top of the dress on her was a nightmare.
The cut and the sizing are not there.
She keeps squeezing into outfits that are 2 sizes too small. I don't know why.
Well, she gets borrowed clothing, and the sample model sizes are a 2 or a 4.
Well, that's why you
And
don't
he's
see
not-
the same. That's why you don't see the same outfit on her twice. You never see the same outfit
It's
twice.
all loaned. It's all
She
loaned
gets them,
items.
she wears them, she ships them back. Yeah.
You got it.
So, all right, I have my own live for my Patreon peeps. So,
Have a fabulous Patreon.
Patreon.
bye guys.
And everybody,
Bye.
don't forget to like and subscribe to Sue,
Subscribe
and
to Sue.
check you are still
On-
subscribed.
Got it.
YouTube have unsubscribed me from my own husband and vice versa before.
Yes.
And remember,
check,
remember on YouTube, besides checking the bell, go over to the 3 lines where it says your YouTube logo. Click on that. In there is subscriptions.
Yes.
Click that, and you will find everyone you have subscribed to in date time order.
And
Who's coming
I also tell my subscribers at the end of every video, even though you've hit the button, just double check, because people are being, I've had several people write to me and go, I don't know what's going on. I've been unsubscribed from your channel like 5 times. Like, I can't help you. I don't
Not
know
only
why.
that,
You just have
YouTube
to-
have
Yep.
subscribed me in the past to that troll channel. And I've never subscribed to that. And I've unsubscribed and I've gone back and I'm subscribed again.
Yeah, something funky is happening there. And
What-
like I said, when Trevor's video came up about what happened to him, I'm sure you've seen
I've
it.
noticed if you
It's terrible.
if you actually go and get the subscription for YouTube Premium,
Yeah.
you don't get bounced off of anybody. So
I'm not paying YouTube for no thank you.
it's like $10 a month, so you don't have to deal with the commercials.
I will just say, yeah, but that's how people make their money. So I don't, and that's
No,
money,
it's
I don't want to do that.
no, but it is that the subscribers, the money from the subscribers goes to.
Oh, well, I was just going to say, after what happened to Trevor, I put on his account, I put on his Twitter, because I let him know that I myself had 2 videos that were demonetized. One was for foul language. So I hit the button for a human review, and the human review came back and said, we're leaving this demonetized. And anybody who knows me knows I don't curse. There was no foul language in that video. So I had to escalate it up. And I asked them to please look at who was reviewing my videos, because I had 2 or 3 videos that were demonetized, human reviewed, and left demonetized for things that were not in the videos. So they need to start looking at who's reviewing.
Well, sometimes with my videos, they go green dollar, green dollar, yellow dollar. Like there's a fight between 2 people at YouTube.
I agree. That's what's happening. All right, you guys have a fabulous
Thank you very
day.
much for coming, Sue.
Bye, bye.
Bye, Glinda.
Bye, thank you, Sue.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
yes, there's been a lot of chatter while all that was going on. There's just so many subjects. Don't even know where to begin or what to focus on or what's the worst or what's the worst that can happen. Hello, Mabel.
Well.
Robin Smarts. There's just so many comments. You choose one, Glinda.
Oh, I'm looking for questions. I wish they would. Right now,
Or Jen.
we're just having to bide our time, because I would say come January, so much is going to be hitting the fan that I hope they have really good personal hurricane gear to wear.
January seems to be their sort of human cycle, if you notice. They always do something dramatic in the January, more dramatic than the rest of the year.
A lot
in
of
the
things.
January.
A lot of things will be hitting the fan this month, and then after the new year, after the 12th night celebrations have finished up on January 6th, there's going to be a ton of stuff coming to light where many things will be revealed, like what shenanigans happening behind the scenes.
One of the things I really genuinely fear, which might sound a bit weird, is for Harry and Meghan themselves, because they are creating such a shitstorm for themselves. I fear someone taking really, really drastic action. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to say it out loud, but
I would not be surprised if
and
if the behavior,
I hate to think of that. Why are they creating so much shit for themselves?
I'm thinking if a normal Bobby and Susie were doing this in this behavior, family members would be concerned, and they would, if they were out of state and couldn't check on the children, they would then have to call the State Department of Human Services to make sure that the children are not being emotionally or psychologically abused. So it would not surprise me that some concerned citizen would make that inquiry. And if the child is going to any kind of day nursery, preschool, those people who are entrusted with the child care are legally bound by federal law to report any and all suspicions of abuse on that child. So if a kid goes into a daycare center, a play group, a pre-K school, day nursery, whatever, and the people who work there see the child in certain behaviors that are not normal, or if they repeatedly see a parent roughly holding a child and just being snarky all the time, there would be enough of reasonable evidence to put in a concern alert with the public services and after enough alerts, public services do have to go in and do a formal investigation. And this can happen to anyone who's abusing a child. And they do, because people don't realize that when a child goes to a daycare center, a nursery, a play group, any sort of facility geared towards small children, there are cameras, and every single employee is mandated in the United States to report any signs of any sort of abuse, be it physical, emotional, psychological. So even if you are a licensed nanny, you are under jurisdiction. You have to report this.
Yeah, I think anybody who's really, really in the public eye has to sort of keep an eye on their own mental health. And I think Meghan and Harry are a very good example of how things can quickly go wrong.
Yes.
So, and that's going to put pressure on everybody. Hello, Roxy. A Jamba said something about Oprah has just been served by Samantha Markle. I'm sure I saw that further up in the kids, in the comments in the kids. I was just reading Jen Graham's, the kids would need to be visible. Well, yeah, who knows what's going on there. I'm not really interested in other people's kids, not even royal kids, really. I'm more interested in, the adults going out and doing stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I know the adults are much more interesting, but I think the one child that will get a little bit of kidding for the rest of his life is baby Lucas. He was in such a hurry to arrive that he was born in the bathroom at home. Mom didn't even have time to get to the hospital. That's, yes, Zara and Mike Tyndall's.
The tide turning against the Markles, they're being excoriated, crucified and tarred and feathered in the media. Lost and gefunden. Well, yes, I think it's going to get worse. If she'd done Oprah, for example, and she'd said something like, the royal family are lovely, it just wasn't for me. I couldn't take it. I just couldn't take the pressure. I felt I was messing up all the time, and I admire all of them. If she got about it like that, this would be a whole other story, don't you think?
Oh my gosh, if she had been polite and courteous and really made an effort to follow protocol and then just said, hey, I can't cut it, she would be being offered things right, left, 8 ways to center, just like Sarah Ferguson was after her divorce. And when she left, she was offered a multi-million-dollar contract with Weight Watchers. But even I know if you're going to certain events, a hat is mandatory. So are nylons. I mean, sorry, but if you are going to a formal event, no matter what, if it's sponsored by certain functions, you do wear a hat on your head and you do wear hosiery. You don't go bare legged.
Or at the very least, the advisors would have said to you could be criticised.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And you do have to follow protocol. And
again, that sort of stuff doesn't really worry me so much. I'm not bothered about that.
Plus, one thing a lot of people have forgotten about is that in dormancy right now is Ardent Productions. That is the production company that Edward, the Earl of Wessex, owns. He has his own production company.
Yeah.
And if she decided that she did not want to be doing all the formal royal engagements, she could have continued on living in England and being a presenter on things produced by Ardent Productions, and have been a presenter on all sorts of travel documentary shows or whatever. She could have had her own little show with a family-run production company.
Well, I think it would have been a good idea because Harry said on more than one occasion that he'd love to work on a safari.
Yes,
if they'd gone and lived in the middle of nowhere and they could have filmed nature and they could have built their own log cabin, and then they could have come back after a couple of years and they could have sold that to Netflix.
Or they had a home run production company and they could have had it running a lifestyle of the royals who decided, hey, we're not going to be in England, we're going to live our lives, and it would be broadcast and still conducted themselves in a gracious manner without offending anybody, but living their own life, being trailed by a film crew and having fun, living their own life with no stress.
Cameras. Why pay a film crew? It would have been kind of more cute. It would have been more authentic, as she likes to say, if it had a homemade movie feel to it.
I could just picture Harry walking around with a Steadicam set up on his body.
Well, you can get those cameras forest cameras they put on trees, and then they get deer and bear and stuff like that coming along.
Or the GoPro cameras that wear on their heads.
Who wouldn't have loved that? That would have been tremendous. But it's the bitch fest. She's a grudge bearer. I think she's a grudge bearer. She's got to be in her bonnet. And you notice how when she talks about certain people from deep dark in her past, like she's on it. And I remember that bastard. She's got to say something, even if it's someone way, way back on Deal or No Deal. She remembers that person. She has to have the last word. She cannot let it drop.
She carries a grudge.
Yeah.
And sometimes I know there are people who have had it out for me, and I admit it, there have been certain people who assisted others in doxing me, and I'm just like, you know what? Hey, folks, you don't know my life, and if you're so busy that you have to stick your nose into mine and see what's on the surface level, get a life. It's like, if this is what your entertainment is, okay, so be it. Life goes on, and you're doing more harm to yourself than you are to me.
Princess Carol says Meghan would have hated living in Africa. Yeah, I agree. She wouldn't have liked that at all. What does everybody make of Sarah Vine using the word moon bump in her article in the Daily Mail? Does moon bump have any other meaning? Could it have meant, that's what I said. What does moon,
I heard one.
I think it only has the one definition, doesn't it?
Yes, it's a false pregnancy bump.
Yes, Nutmeg, it's curious. It's curious. Are the gloves coming off? Is that a warning shot across the bows?
Oh.
Animals are angels. That is so true, Fiona. She just can't let it go. No, she can't let anything go. Hello, I never know how to pronounce your name. It's gone now. I always think it says eighth. It's EIG.
IG.
101101.
Well, I would like to know if they're going to be in New York this week. I wonder how many people will be showing up in the cold weather, icky weather this week in New York. We'll be lining the streets, waiting for them to walk into the Ripple Awards. Or
Do you think they'll turn up? I mean, Sue is adamant. I don't think
I
they will. I honestly think that they're not together. I can well believe what Lady C said, and she did say maybe this has just been put out there to, cause trouble. It's not inconceivable. It's just my sensation. Something is up with the relationship. I don't think they're together, and I don't think Harry's going to be there at that award. And I've bet Sue $1 that he won't be there.
My gut instincts.
No, it's not a secret. It's only $1, Ben. I don't think anybody's going to go bankrupt over $1. I'm going to use the one in your wallet. Yes, I am.
Yes, you can. We can have a betting pool going on Venmo.
No big bets though. No big bets.
Has to be under $1. 50 cents minimum bet. 50 cents. I have a feeling that the children, he will be encouraging, well, we need to bring the children with us. And possibly while she is getting put together, they may decide to quietly leave while she's occupied in hair and makeup.
I think Harry's probably in Africa right now.
I have a feeling that
with no internet connection and just taking time out because he knows all this is going down.
Well, if there are children, they need to bring the children back to the UK so they can be properly educated. Because she wants a career in some sort of film and TV stuff. And being a mom is, well, it's a full-time job. And if you're working 16 hours a day on set, that only gives you how many hours a day to be a mommy? That's like only 8 hours. And if the children have nannies and so forth now, why not take them back to England where they can be raised by a nanny, but then on the grounds of Windsor Park, there's several houses. They can then go play with their cousins.
She could be fearful of custody because I'm pretty certain that the monarch has custody.
I know he has guardianship of all grandchildren in the line, but the children would then have to be produced in court. And
they have to be produced.
And she would also have to.
It could be tricky, depending on what's going on there. I have no idea.
And those children need passports. So the real birth certificates have to be provided for them to get their passport. And a child since they change so quickly, the photo on a child's passport must be updated, I believe, yearly.
Yes, Giddy Aunt. They were just talking about the Spider-Man thing. Have you seen Harry as Spider-Man? Giddy Aunt just said it's an old video. I had that sensation that was something filmed in the summer. I mean, the weather must be starting to get a bit chillier. They're on sort of a similar latitude to us here in Gibraltar. It just there was something about it. It looked like it was filmed quite a long time
and they're
ago.
On the coast, so it's kind of the weather patterns are changing.
Some of the comments are just going crazy.
You can't have passports for fake children.
DNA, of course. I wouldn't mind betting DNA is done in all circumstances anyway, just for the royal record. Because it's been available. That is really rather the point of the Windsors. They're a bloodline.
Well, ever since Prince Philip donated DNA so they could identify the remains of the Romanovs.
Yeah, and also they used his DNA for the Lady Anna Anderson, the Anastasia mystery. I seem to remember.
So his DNA is now on record. And the children, if they do a 23andMe later on, it could pop up that, they're related by Prince Philip's DNA. If not,
Giddy Aunt says the Spider-Man costume is tight-fitting. No man boobs on show.
oh, that's like George Clooney's Batman costume.
Only not quite as cool. But he was doing it for kids. He was doing it for a
Yeah.
kids' charity. All right, thank you, guys. Shh.
Oh,
We've got fans of Spider-Man in the kitchen. The
Okay.
the real Spider-Man. We all know he exists. Oh, good old Peter Parker.
yes, yes.
Maybe he can go and rescue Harry.
Well, why don't we send Tom Cruise to rescue Harry as his next Mission Impossible? That would really tweak her nose.
I'm overwhelmed with it when I wake up in the mornings. I'm never quite sure. I go to sleep for about 8 hours. I wake up and I just look at the news, and a whole ton of stuff's happened overnight. It's endless. And the other thing is, on the Netflix, apparently they're going to release one episode every week. It's not like The Crown where you can just watch the whole lot. So that means this is going to drag out for six long,
weeks.
painful weeks. So imagine being in the royal family thinking, is this the week that they're going to really deliver?
What's happening next?
And people are saying, insiders are saying that it's going to be far, far more shocking and damaging than anybody realizes. What on earth could there be in it? And I think that's what's provoked William to say, if there's anything outrageous or shocking in it and it's not true, he's going to respond to it. That's the feeling.
That may be
why
why
Netflix take it laying down.
Could be the reason why Netflix is spreading it out in drips and drabs, because
they can decide to. Well, we won't.
If something happens within 2 hours of the first broadcast of it being released, an attorney can walk in and say, "Nope, stop right now," boom, and it's over and done with. And they only have the evidence for the portion that was on air or available for those certain number of hours, which means the rest of it.
They might even have filmed 2 different episodes for each week. And depending on public opinion, they could actually be recutting it as they go along. That is not inconceivable. Is it?
Anything with computerizing and the editing software, a lot can happen, because even live broadcasts, like sporting events, those are on a 7 to 10 second delay.
Yeah.
And a lot of editing can happen in that short amount of time, because live broadcasts, even when they have a buzzer to beep out inappropriate language. Oh.
Or they could just dump it, I suppose. I suppose from Netflix point of view, they're thinking we're in so deep with this couple. We've got to do something. Because I also read there's been friction between Harry and Meghan and more than one producer of the Harry and Meghan show. They have not found them easy people. That's the allegation or the rumor, or whether that's true or not. I'm sure they're both lovely people to work with.
I am curious as to how many, in my opinion, anyone with half a brain who has any experience in film production, the actual production crew, the grips, the gaffers, the camera, the sound.
Debbie is saying they've taken the trailer down, have they? I'm just going to have a quick look. On the Netflix channel.
Whoa.
That is interesting, because there were so many dislikes on that, weren't there?
Well, I'm curious as to how many crew members they actually went through during the filming, and if a crew member actually worked on more than one episode.
Oh, sorry. That Netflix is. I think Debbie's right. I'm not seeing. Oh no, the trailer is still there.
It is.
It is still there. And just, I'll just pause that. And it's had 25.2 million views. and 20,000 likes. That's a terrible ratio. 25 million subscribers. It's had, where's the views? It's had nearly 6 million views and 20,000 likes.
Not good.
5.7 million views and 20,000 likes.
And some people actually know how to get in to see the number of dislikes.
Yes, I saw that. The Royal Grift was able to do it, and I think Duchess of Sussex. I don't know how you do that.
Neither do I. I guess we'll have to find out from one of the other girls.
I just imagine that if I had uploaded a video,
the percentage
had 6 million views and 20,000 likes. What's that as a percentage? 0.0002%. Yes, lots of
I mean, okay, right now on my other screen, it says we have 619 watching, and we already have 278 thumbs up. So we're running nearly
30%.
No, that's almost 50%.
Oh yeah, of course it is.
We're
I don't know what I mentioned. I'm a moron, and I was terrible at school.
We're running 40+% thumbs up. So
by the same ratio, we'd only have one thumbs up if we were Harry and Meghan.
Oh gosh.
On the Netflix trade. Netflix must be like scratching their heads, mustn't they? Blowing their brains out over the whole thing.
I think they have their legal team going over frame by frame to make sure there's nothing they can get sued at. Legal must be pulling their hair out.
And even if the legal department get it through, they're going to be picked apart.
Oh,
whatever they do. And it's actually an ongoing living story at the moment. And the Netflix documentary is very much part of the story. I mean, Hollywood directors beware. Now, you are someone who worked in Hollywood. What would you imagine Hollywood directors and studios and A-listers right now think of working with Meghan? Do you think her phone's going to be ringing off the hook, or do you think they're going to be like, this woman is poison, I don't want to work with her?
In my opinion, I remember after the Melendez brothers, when their parents were killed and it hit the newspapers, everybody in town made sure they had their alibis locked up tight. So if the current people in LA working, I think they all are going to make sure that their schedules are really packed, and any availability, they'll have their dates iced out so they don't have the time. It's not in the schedule. We might get down to working with you in about 5-10 years. We have projects lined up. They're going to make sure they are very busy so they don't have the availability to work with her.
Right, 226,000 dislikes.
Ooh.
And 20,000 likes. That's harsh. I've just realised I can click on the comments. I'd forgotten I can do that on this. So now I can go through and put some of the
questions up.
Yeah, or just random. I usually just randomly. Karma is here. Hello, Karma. I'm just going back through some of the comments.
Well, I did hear that the major studio in Chicago was owned by Canadians, and they also own the studio in Toronto.
Right.
So I hear gossip. They said, oh yeah, there's this chick who's working up in Toronto who says she's dating Prince Harry. So it's kind of like a joking situation. Oh, did you hear the story of? And then soon afterwards, it was public knowledge. And the friends that I have, we'd be out and I'm like, yeah, I guess that story's true. And they're like, heaven help him. All the guys are like, I hope he knows what he's in for. Now, this is all gossip that I heard after everyone had at least a beer or two. So nobody can, if you're drinking, people always say things that aren't true or they don't mean, but.
Or are true.
Well, you have to take it with a grain of salt after somebody has had a cocktail. So.
No, I don't have super chat turned on, Mona Lisa. I don't. I never do. I don't want anybody to send me money for anything ever.
Yeah.
I don't even put my PayPal details up at all. Yeah, it is because I don't trust the internet. Every time my kids use fake friends on the internet, I go, "Are you sure they're not a serial killer?"
Oh my gosh.
Serial killers on the internet. And I have loosened up a little bit since then.
So you're more likely to.
Oh,
I have actually had one or two friends who were serial killers. I didn't actually know they were serial killers when I knew.
no. I can appreciate how a lot of people are canceling Netflix, but I have not canceled my subscription because I do know people who work on the productions, and I know they need a paycheck. So to keep friends and extended family working, I'm keeping my subscription because Netflix tracks what you watch. So
Yeah,
you
it
can-
doesn't with me though, unless other people in the house are watching things. I get served up all kinds of stuff. I'm really
no,
not interested in.
Netflix, when you click on something, it registers in your account behind the scenes with the algorithm. So they are actually knowing how many people are watching what programs and how often. So you'll get, if you have a Netflix account, you'll see an area saying my suggestions. So from what you have previously watched, they'll suggest like material. Now, I'm kind of a junkie. I love watching documentaries on historical things. So my grouping and suggestions is always historical documentaries that happened for like World War II and Europe and what happened with this and what that, and Middle East archaeological digs if they're going after, oh, Noah's Ark again. I'm like, okay, whatever. They're going to, what is it, Ethiopia to try and find the true Ark of the Covenant. But because if that's what I click and watch on Netflix, and how would they know to suggest those things to me if they weren't tracking my what I'm viewing? So
I've got to say, the last thing that I watched on Netflix before The Crown was Pandemic, which was launched just as we had a pandemic, which I thought was kind of weird.
Or another one that I found on another streaming channel was a movie called The Cassandra Crossing, which was...
Yeah, I know that film. It's not Sophia Loren did a version of that.
Well, it's an older movie. It's from the 70s. And
oh, yeah, then it is the Sophia Loren. Yes. We've got a question here from Baby Grandma. Do you think Andrew and his immediate family are part of this, trying to take down Charles and William? Personally, I think Andrew's got enough on his plate. I think so.
In my opinion, I think Andrew took the fall because I know from my own dad and a lot of my other friends, when men are in the military, especially the guys from World War II, they never really left the military. They still kind of stayed in touch with their friends, and some of them did end up working for other government agencies. Just like The Crown had that episode where was Philip or wasn't he in with the group of guys that were tied up with the Profumo scandal? There could have been, Prince Philip could have attended some things just to gather some information to pass on to MI5 and MI6. Just like, so maybe Andrew, even though he left active service of the Navy, he stayed working with military intelligence and government intelligence because he knew, hey, when he was in the Falklands, little William was born. So Andrew know, hey, I can do my own thing now. So he
got trousers on.
So he could have made the option to continue. Hey, Benji, continue serving this country quietly, gathering evidence and information for MI5 and MI6. And he took the fall by hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein to get information, to gather evidence that could be turned over to Interpol, like MI5, the CIA, the FBI.
There's obviously a lot going on that we don't know. You know, there's bound to be a lot going on behind the scenes, but I don't think.
I think he took the fall. He took the fall for to prevent something more
No one's
horrible
ever done
happening.
this before. Not even Diana. No one's ever tried to blow up the royal family. One of the best comments I ever saw about Meghan was on the Daily Mail, and somebody said, if Diana was a loose cannon, Meghan is a nuclear bomb leaking atomic energy all over the royal family. And that was way before they even got married.
Oh my God, yes. I think
So they could see what a disaster.
Well, I think Diana knew what she was getting in for. Her sister was actually supposed to be the sacrificial lamb.
I don't think they've got money. I think they're skint. Personally, I think they're running out of money.
Well, Fiona, you're familiar with the UK inheritance laws and estates and how things are set up with aristocratic families where, okay, there's money in the bank, but no, you can't touch the capital. You can only have the interest from the capital on a yearly basis. So I thought maybe somebody thought they had access to the entire principal, but when it came down to brass tacks, no, they only get to live on the interest, which is enough to have a nice lifetime if someone's paying your mortgage. But
I can't believe they thought that the British taxpayer, the Canadian taxpayer, or the American taxpayer would pay for their security because he was born a prince. That's incredible to me. And he actually said that to Oprah.
Excuse me, but I do know of one person. She is an actress. She lives in Los Angeles. She is a real princess. Sorry. She gets by. She lives in a gated community that has private security for the entire community. But she takes her kids to school events, goes to the grocery store. Yes, she does have household help, but she doesn't have a bodyguard walking around her 25/8, and she is a princess. So
Murphy's here. Talking about the porn film. I remember that. That could have just been excellent Photoshop, couldn't it?
Oh,
Graham couldn't stop laughing. Have you seen it, Glinda? The porn film?
Oh, the one of her.
The one that purports to be Meghan.
No, I think the last celebrity risque blue movie I saw was someone found the one with Paris Hilton.
Oh,
So
right. No,
yeah.
this one with Meghan was really convincing. I mean, what a terrible thing to see on the internet. I don't know if it's true, but yes, nice point to raise there, Stephen.
Well, somebody may be making money on that, so where is the money going to if it's a pay-per-view?
Yes, it does. It does seem like there's a bit of a coordinated effort to attack the royal family. There's always been a movement of Republicans, always. But yes, this does seem quite orchestrated. And I remember something ages ago about a girl who'd said on the internet she had gone for an audition to be. These people wanted her to get friendly with Prince Harry and ultimately marry him and bring the monarchy down or something like that. And she turned them down. And then along came Meghan or something. I saw something like that. There's some theories out there on the internet, that's for sure.
I don't know if the Fenians have that kind of money to underwrite that. I mean, they...
Hi, Nicola. I think they're just, he's quite dim and she's quite nuts, is my opinion.
Dim nuts.
I don't think it's that organised, actually. I think a lot of people are looking on in horror. And I think, yes, Republican movements are capitalising on it. They did with Diana.
Oh, God. Well, I think he was coached. Harry was coached through school, had a lot of tutors, so he could get passing marks, get his... I don't know, did he even take his O-levels?
I'm not sure, actually. SPS says they say Charles is going to release the beast, both the bullying reports and somehow leak out a porn film of
my gosh,
some years ago. Oh, I expect MI5 and they're bound to know everything. These security services
Well, I'm waiting for
She
the.
married into the family. She's going to be sleeping in close quarters with them. Of
Well,
course, they
he's
will
been
know
here for over a year, so
absolutely
now he has to
everything.
pay. He has to pay American taxes on this money.
Hmm.
I'm waiting to see what their tax bill looks like. So that's going to be the interesting part. And if he wants to keep his NHS insurance, he has to basically pay a percentage of what he made here in the United States. He has to pay a percentage of that tax back to the UK to keep the NHS insurance for his wife and kids. And who is paying the bills for their medical insurance? Who paid the bill to the hospitals?
Hmm.
I mean, there has to be a paper trail for the birth of these children. And, somebody who if they find anything, it will probably leak a photocopy of it to avoid HIPAA.
Hmm.
Run it around through some back doors so it's leaked.
Carrie says, have you seen the video that the Royal Griff did? She can prove that Meghan is connected to Hillary Clinton and a bunch of other ones who's her backup. Well, let's say hypothetically for a minute the Dems are backing Meghan. I guess they'd want a refund by now, wouldn't they? The damage. I'm left wing, and it makes me cringe every time people say Meghan represents the left. Well,
No,
she doesn't.
I think Meghan
she doesn't.
represents Meghan. What's best for her.
So, I mean,
Because
it's not inconceivable because people do sponsor other people for lobbying and whatnot. But I think if I was Hillary Clinton, I would want my money back.
well,
Definitely.
did we see any letters or notes of condolences from them to Paul Pelosi? I don't think so. I mean, after his attack, I mean, if she
And Obama
supposedly,
didn't invite her and Harry to the birthday party.
well,
So I sense distancing there.
Obama hangs with people who can benefit him. So she must have been pretty much a detriment. Say, nope, not happening. We don't want her there. And even if you watch carefully the Oprah interview, you can see some of the looks that Oprah gave is just like, I can't wait till this is over and done with.
Yeah.
And
I think Oprah's going to say eventually, when if the shit hits the fan badly, like one of them ends up injured or injuring each other because of the lunacy, I think what Oprah's going to say is, I just recorded it for history.
yes.
I didn't want to upset her. I didn't want to argue with her because I knew she'd just get up and walk away, but I could see something was wrong and we felt it was important to record it for history. That's how if I was Oprah, I'd say something like,
I would like to see the
I
entire
wouldn't have
footage.
done it in the first place. No, I don't believe Hillary visited Archie at Frogmore Cottage. I think that's she just said, oh, the Pope's been for tea and Hillary's been for tea. And no, I don't believe any of that.
No, because there's that whole, the air, we all know, I am guessing that you've also been to Windsor Park at one time. And there's certain areas there where the public is allowed to visit, but the enclave where the cottages are, that's patrolled and there is a fence around it that, sorry, we can't go past that fence. You need to go through a security checkpoint to get into that compound area. I mean, the Windsor Great Park is what, 5,000 acres or plus? But the area where the houses are, like Royal Lodge and Adelaide Cottage and Frogmore, they're all within a small, maybe 200-acre area of land. So, and they're very close to the actual castle, so it's easily guarded. And they're saying, oh, Prince Andrew is losing his security.
It's not so easily guarded against Meghan and Harry's photographer, though, is it?
Oh, well, I guess the guy's on their guest list. So he was like, came on in with their dog's buddy as somebody. He was carrying the diaper bag. So the camera's in the diaper bag. Because if you have a fake dog.
I didn't see any children, though. Loads of people said they didn't see any children at any of the visits. It's sort of really weird, that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, you would have seen something. I mean, even the garbage men would have noticed soiled Pampers in the wastebasket.
Yeah.
I mean, they could have swiped. Hey, well, okay, folks, it's like I'd say grab a couple diapers, because diapers have
and kids
DNA
make
in them.
noise and stuff like that. Yeah.
Since
yeah.
we know Prince Philip's DNA is on record, you could take the DNA from a diaper to see if the
Well,
kid really
yeah, I
exists.
mean, presumably the palace would have had a lot of chance to take either Harry or Meghan's DNA, hairbrushes. There's staff
Yeah.
around all the time. That wouldn't be much of a problem, would it?
I would think Harry's is already on record.
Yeah, yeah,
because they
probably
needed a
from
case
birth.
because of emergency stuff. They would have to know complete medical history. If he has any allergies, blood type, set to go.
Mm.
And they do that
Yes.
and they, of course, they had to do that with Meghan too. Since she's now part of it, we need your blood type. We need complete medical history, which means, yes, they probably have their DNA. And if there's diapers, you could pull DNA from somebody's waste product in a diaper to see if the kid, if it matches.
You certainly can. Well, we've been going now for an hour and nearly 40 minutes, so I think we'll probably wrap this up in a minute. Are there any questions from any of you out there? Now I've remembered to put them up on the screen. What do you think is the most pressing issue at the moment? I'm just really glad William and Catherine, it all went really well for them in the end. There's in the media here in Europe, there's a big fear that Americans all love Meghan and Harry.
No.
They're very frightened of that. And I've never got that impression.
I was out Friday night at an event, and honestly, the only topic on any European situation was how now in the Ukraine, certain religions are now being banned. And they're comparing it to what happened in other European countries during the 1930s. That was the big topic of discussion.
Karma is asking, where is Glinda from? I think that's because he came in later on. So she's a very well-connected lady.
I'm in the Chicago area, Karma. And I worked in the film production here in the Chicago area for several years. And before that, I also did some work with a very well-known ghost hunter in my late teens, early 20s. I was on a lot of European and Asian television, going around to haunted locations around the United States and Europe. Yes.
But where are you from?
But where am I really from?
Yes, where are you really from? I can see.
Isn't it women are from Venus and men are from Mars?
Yes, it's Glinda from the Nutmeg. Glinda from the Oz film.
Good Witch of the North. Yes. So I am north of Kansas. I'm in Chicago area. So.
Well, I think we better all grip our pearls and hold on to your life for the next week, because there's the award thing and my bet with Sue Smith.
Okay, does anyone have a bet what colored dress she's going to wear?
Oh.
Yes.
Gold?
Or I think she may go
silver.
How much do you want to bet that she's going to get a rental and brag about it?
I think most of hers are rentals anyway, aren't they? Because they don't fit her very well.
Oh gosh. I every time I see this, I'm like, doesn't this girl know what a tailor is for? But then I realized that, okay, she looked good at the beginning because she was still wearing clothing that she owned and was tailored by the girls on the set of Suits. Or she had it in her contract she could take her wardrobe home. So everything was basically tailored to fit. And now it's like, it's a loaner. No, you can't touch it, because if you notice, every time she wears a pair of trousers, she's wearing 4 and 5 inch stilettos, and she's still dragging the hem on the ground.
Yeah, the trousers are too long for her.
Yeah. So
it's crazy, isn't it? And dragging in the mud.
Excuse me, but the designers do make a petite line of clothing. Well,
you racist, Karma. You racist.
Karma, let's put it this way. I bet if Fiona and I went and laid out in the sun for a couple of days in the summer, she and I could both pass for Middle Eastern women.
Yeah.
Because we would get so tan.
Well, a lot of people have often said that look Italian or Mediterranean or something like that. Yeah. Now, William, yeah, this is a really good one, Susan. Do you think William will actually have MI6 and lawyers on standby and speak? Yes. Let's not forget, this is Prince William.
Does he have them on standby, sweetie? They're already on payroll. They're already at work.
He brought down the News of the World newspaper. I believe it was the News of the World. It was Prince William. Loads of people have been complaining about phone hacking and being spied on.
Oh.
When they did it to William, that was one too far, and he was on them. So yes, he's a very powerful person, and yes.
People forget that William is the future monarch.
Absolutely.
And I'm not trying to be treasonous or anything, but taking a look at the lifespan of the royal family, it's like, okay, Charles is 74. If he's lucky, he might be monarch for 25 years.
Yeah.
William had just turned 40, which means William will be king by the time when he's maybe in his 60s.
Yeah.
Or sooner.
And he's quite an athletic guy. He'll probably be a very young 60.
Yes, both he and Catherine, you always.
Yeah.
We see them dressed beautifully.
Oh, she just gets better every year. She's
but I would be more than happy to bet that when they are at home, they're running around in blue jeans and their sneakers, just and a sweatshirt or a simple pullover jumper, just being normal every day, chasing after the kids. And out there, it's like, yeah, he'll take a break in the middle of the day of the meeting saying, oh, kids just got home from school. Let's go burn off some energy so they then can do their homework, focus on their homework, and have their supper and bath and bed. Because if you look at their schedules, their diaries, most of their appointments are in the morning after the school run, and they're done before the kids get home from school. That 6-8 hour window. So you can tell that they like to be at home with the children as much as possible.
Karma's being quite naughty in Megan being 43% Nigerian. Oh, dearie me. What a lot of strange nonsense she comes out with. Right. Well, thank you all very, very much for joining us, especially you, Glinda.
Thank you for inviting us into your homes.
And we're going to be doing Christmas lives on a daily basis. I think probably start around about the 12th of December.
Oh, that'll be lovely.
We'll have it on in the background, and then if you'd like to join us, Glinda, and other guests, and then everybody can chat to themselves while we're just doing stuff. We'll just be randomly like a.
Oh, that would be great. And Hanukkah does start, I believe, on the 18th. Evening of the 18th.
Oh, does it? Right.
So we can get some candles out.
Yes, that would be nice. That would be nice.
I know. I've got my menorah in the cabinet.
For people who have families at Christmas, and then everyone can get themselves a little mince pie or whatever. And because I know Christmas can be a bit miserable if people are on their own. It can be miserable if you're spending it with family as well.
You have to weigh the good versus bad. You have your family of chance and your family of choice. So
thank you very, very much for all joining us.
I appreciate being part of the show today.
It's been lovely to have you on, and your fabulous tiara. So peace out, Earthlings.
And we'll be seeing you later. Bye-bye.
See you later.